So, you already know a lot about traditional geopolitics, eh? White old men claiming to know how the world works and setting out an agenda for states to pursue a specific kind of international politics. Well, geopolitics as a topic has transformed over the last well, 1 or 2 decades, and you can call that perhaps critical geopolitics. At least Flint and Taylor do that. Um, the point is that they very much more focus on what is said. It's more an analysis of what is said in international politics and looking behind those ideas. Discourse analysis is an important aspect. It's looking at different representations which are used in geopolitics, what language in broad way is used, what images are used, and how these express specific positions. Not only looking at what is said, but also looking what is behind it, the contextualization, which is important in Flint and Taylor. That is an important part of critical geopolitics. That the two sides, on the one hand, analyzing what is said, what is communicated, and on the other hand, interpreting and putting it into a wider context. When you look at that type of discourses, you must be very aware that they have basically always two components. On the one hand, they present an interpretation of what's going on and on the position. On the other hand, they present a justification of those international politics. And that brings us to the point of the geopolitical code. A geopolitical code, and you can link that, of course, to geopolitics. Flint and Taylor do that. These are, you can call them highly biased pictures of the world, which produce state or state actors about their contexts, about their local, their neighbors, the regional, more or less continental context, or even the specific vision of how the world operates and how they position themselves. And it always goes about specific aspects like who are our friends, identify them, and also identify the common interests, and also very important, identifying the enemies. Who are they and why do they pose a threat? And then last but not least, a justification. Why is it right that you pursue a specific kind of policy? So what are these geopolitical codes and how are they used? Let's take a closer look at this figure. You've already seen it in Flint and Taylor, page 56. And that's basically a depiction of possible world orders based on different geopolitical codes after the Second World War. Well, as you are aware, the Second World War was won by a coalition of the United Kingdom, the United States, and the Soviet Union, and they defeated first of all, Germany, the Nazis, Hitler Germany, and on the other hand, they also conquered Imperial Japan. So after the Second World War, there were several types of bipolar worlds or basis for a new world order possible. Well, first of all, the United States could align with the Soviet Union and create an anti-imperialist front. Well, both the Soviet Union and the USA were very much opposed to the empire of the United Kingdom, which stretched all the way to India and would cover a lot of the world, and want to open it up for different reasons, of course. That would be one possible front. Another one would be against the rising star of the United States, which was very successful after the Second World War, and there could be a coalition between the United Kingdom and the Soviet Union against that emerging, as we now call it, US hegemony. That could be an anti-hegemonic front, that Taylor called it. But a third possibility, and that became reality, is that there emerged an anti-communist front of the UK and the USA, which were very much opposed to the Soviet Union, which expanded its reach after the Second World War. The Iron Curtain was drawn through Europe, and that became the dominant world view. That became the dominant world global geopolitical code. Be careful with the concept of which was shared by the United Kingdom and the United States, and became the basis for the Cold War-based world order after the Second World War. And what I find very interesting in that analysis of Flint Taylor is the role of the United Kingdom, which more or less guided the United States into that world view.